Wow, tuning in just now. You guys wouldn't believe the conversation I was just having with myself without actually having this thing on record. Oh man, now I feel like a fool. I just spent the last 10 minutes preparing this food and trying to teach you guys what I was taking care of. Well, now that you're tuning in, this is going to be an upload. I was just explaining to the last people that weren't watching because the video wasn't on record that I'm currently making this thing. It's a HelloFresh meal. I swear these things make me feel like I'm a chef, but obviously they've already done most of the work, and essentially you just have to follow the instructions. This particular meal is a fully loaded pork taquitos, but because pork is haram, we're actually going to be using this Italian sweet sauce, chicken sausage mix. And as you can see, it looks pretty tasty. We just got to get it in there, chop it up, and start prepping this stuff. I began by chopping up the onions already, so as you can see, we've already peeled them and diced them. The next will be washing this tomato, and once that's done, we'll chop it up and start cooking this stuff. It's very unfortunate that you guys are tuning in just now. I had a very good conversation with myself. I wish you would have seen these things. It was awesome. But it's okay. We have more time. We can make this conversation again. It's not a problem. So now that I washed this with engine degreaser and acetone to make sure that all the oils were off of it, I'll go ahead and chop this thing into small pieces by dicing off each end, just like Chef Gordon Ramsay taught me. And then you dice it, and you slice it, and you slice it, and then you dice it. All right. I once had this person tell me that they were the best cook in the world. She said, "I'm the best cook in the world, in the whole world, Brandon." And I said, "That's cool. I want to marry you." But we almost got married, and then she said, "No, I don't want to marry you." I think it's because she didn't actually want to prove herself. I think she didn't know how to cook, really. How do you guys liking this camera compared to the camera from before? Oh shit. Don't want to forget your pots on the stove while you're cutting stuff up. This is why it's important that you have to move with efficiency and proficiency when you're cooking. So each step, you have to make sure that you're doing something in order to prepare yourself for the following step. For instance, right now I'm heating up the pot, preheating the oven, and now I'm adding my olive oil, extra virgin, which is how I like them, to scratch that. I don't want you, I don't want that on the internet. I don't know how to edit that out, so we'll just leave it there. Just kind of, just understand it was a joke. And don't get so fucking uptight about it. Anyways, yeah, so the next step is we're gonna saute the onions first, because it's gonna take a little bit longer for the onions to cook through than I believe the meat will. So we'll add the onions first. Ooh. Now see that? The pot's a little too hot, it's steaming. You don't want that. You don't want that, it's gonna be too hot. So we're gonna take that off the fire for a moment. We'll let it cool down before we add our onions, because we're not trying to flash fry these things. Go ahead and turn this heat down. Now, while that cools down, we'll go ahead and start talking about our next step. So first we had to prep, which was adjust the rack to the middle position and preheat the oven to 425 degrees. We already took care of that. Lightly oil or coat a nonstick pan, wash and dry produce, peel and thinly slice onions, then heat a drizzle of oil in a large pan over medium-high heat. Add sliced onions. See, told you. I didn't even have to read that step. I already knew it. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and check on this and see how hot we are. I think that's acceptable. We'll go ahead and add the rest of these. And while those cook through, we'll go ahead and begin our next step. We want to cover this up and reduce that heat a little bit because we don't want to cook them too quickly. So add pork, but in this case, like I said, we're going to be using sweet Italian chicken sausage mix as a substitute because we don't eat pork anymore. It's haram, and nobody should be eating pork. Actually, it's a vile and disgusting creature. As delicious as bacon may be, it's no longer in my food category. In fact, you know, you got to respect your body. The stuff you put inside your body, I mean, that's who you are. You are what you eat. You are what you say. You are what you think. And so it's time for you to wake the fuck up and start thinking about the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you act towards yourself. You know, just because you're a single man and you got to cook for yourself don't mean you go out there and just buy a bunch of boxed meals you go and heat up. Even though this comes in a box. But what I'm saying is I have to put a little bit of effort into it, you know, and it feels good. And let's, while we're talking, actually work at the same time. I'm going to turn that down a little bit more. I think that woman, like I said, she didn't want to have to prove she didn't know how to cook. So that's why she didn't marry me. Damn. I'm crying because these onions right here, not because of that. So check it out. Now we're gonna add the meat. We're gonna add the meat and let it brown. Okay, the meat has to brown, so I think we're good on the, yeah, we'll take that. Go ahead and take that off the heat. Sometimes you gotta take it off the heat for a moment, you know, especially with these electric stoves. It's a little bit harder to manage the temperature, but you get used to it after a while. I even missed the gym the last couple of days. See, I'm over here revealing stuff to you guys. I should never let the left hand know what the right hand's doing. Left hand, right hand. But it's just me talking to myself anyway, so one of you guys, I don't know if you're gonna be listening to this later on, anybody. It'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Hopefully later on we get a better budget and get some more equipment and people actually start watching, and maybe we can talk about particular topics. And one thing I like to talk about is the degradation of masculinity in the United States, and that's, I think, a topic that a lot of guys are starting to reach out and talk about, especially online, because I believe they said 80% of YouTube audience members are males between the ages of like 15 and 50 or something. It's insane. You know, we generally are the ones that go on YouTube and just fuck around. You know, we add videos of us doing stupid shit because that's what guys always kind of been known for, you know, just kind of being silly and entertaining. Some guys. But be men, you know, be men. That's what you are. You know, it's okay to cry sometimes. Just don't let nobody fucking see that shit. And don't let it last too long. Don't give nobody the satisfaction, ever. If you're wondering why I'm using an Italian meat blend in a Mexican dish, well, it's the only substitute I had, so just fucking go with it, okay? Next step. So we didn't even finish the second step, so let's not even fuck around and talk about the third step. What's the point? You didn't do the second step. And that's what's problems with you guys is you're always trying to go to the third step. You didn't even reach the second step yet. You know, I pulled the trigger too soon when I was trying to marry that girl. I had to fix all the bullshit from the past before I can move to the next step in my future. Unfortunately, that's still going on as we speak. And oh man, talk about stress. Fuck. But anyways, that stress caused me to change for the better. As I was mentioning in my last video, sometimes you have to go through those bad situations. You know, I was a very immature man for a long time. I was a very immature man for a long time, up until my 30s even. You know, just my behaviors, my desires, my wishes, my inability to care about anybody else other than myself, all of those things. And I started to kind of realize that it comes with avocado, but I don't eat, well, guacamole, I guess, but I don't eat avocado, so we get rid of that. Start chopping up this meat. Probably just gonna go on a walk here in a little bit just to get some exercise in. I kind of don't want to leave now. This morning, one of my roommates, Miss Marcia, she was diagnosed with breast cancer a few months ago. She went through her surgery and she's on chemo right now. This morning she was in the kitchen and she fell down, and when I got in here and I saw her, she was just like shaky, and I mean just what you'd see on TV, you know, that type of conditions that they get and the symptoms. And, you know, she's going through it, and, you know, she's an older lady and she's tough, but, you know, we'll see. I'm gonna go check in on her here in a little bit. I was trying to make her, you know, food and stuff, but obviously, for obvious reasons, she can't eat it, so we'll try to figure out what we can get her so she can actually have something she can consume and actually get some calories. So we'll figure that out. If you're wondering why I'm whispering, it's because her room's not too far from here, and I don't want to disturb her. So yeah, we'll figure that one out. But let me go check on the meat. It's a little dry in this pan. We gotta add some more oil. You know, you'd be surprised how many different things they can make oil out of. I generally just use olive oil for most of my cooking needs. I don't deep fry anything anymore. You know, growing up, we deep fried a lot of food, and that was mainly our source of like our main ingredient in most of our dishes was just like vegetable oil, which I guess is probably not a very good oil to consume. However, I would like to say one of my roommates introduced me to this coconut oil, and I've cooked with it several times, and I like it. It actually does add like a coconutty flavor sometimes to your food, depending on what kind of food you make it with. I tend to like making it with vegetables because I feel like you can cook it at a lower heat, and the vegetables will absorb that coconutty flavor, even though you don't necessarily want to consume too much oily products. I think coconut oil is pretty good for you. So not a big health nut, but you know, you get a little bit older, You and even if you're young, you don't got to be older. You don't got to be getting older or anything. Your body's your body. You should start when you're young to think about the things that you consume. Knowledge, like we were discussing earlier, is a big thing. You don't want to consume the wrong amount of the wrong type of knowledge, but how do you determine that? Well, by trial and error. you you just trial and error. You find something, you listen to it, and if it seems right, you try it. If you know, but I mean, there's obvious things that you don't need to try because they've already been tried, like socialism, Nazism. Those things are obviously things you wouldn't need to. I mean, you don't got to go try eating a bowl of shit to realize it's not something you should consume. So there are certain things out there that are just pretty obvious, but clearly you're going to walk through life and you're going to have questions. And sometimes you just got to try shit out, you know? I was in Djibouti in September, you know? Like, who does shit like that? Brandon. And I know that country may sound funny to some of you guys, but it's actually a country in East Africa near Ethiopia and Somalia. It's it's a very small country, and I had a very unfortunate turn of events happen in my life out there in a very short amount of time. Literally one day. One day. That's all it took to change what I thought was the course of my life. And I was very happy. And since then, I've had to find another course or whatever. I'm just kind of making money, you know, like I said, if the girl leaves you, man, just keep making money and just be rich, you know. I mean, at least no matter what happens, you know, you're rich, so you don't have to give a fuck, you know. I mean, it may hurt, you may love her, you may be missing her, and sometimes you can go back and forgive a person. Sometimes you can go back to a previous relationship if there was something there. You know, it just takes two people to want to do that, and you know, so it's just a matter of if both parties involved want to try it again. You can definitely go back. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you can go back to somebody you cared about and mend things, because your relationship might actually be stronger then. It might actually have developed strength. Knowing what you guys know now, what you can lose, and how that loss feels. You'll be a little bit less aggressive in your next time arguing, you know, because you never quite got over it. Oops, gotta check the meat. That's why you keep the fire low, so you don't overcook it while you're over here talking, wasting your fucking breath. Now, chicken doesn't dice up quite as well as ground beef, so the ground beef would have probably been a better substitute, but I couldn't find one, so we just went with the chicken. The smell is good. It smells like an Italian herbs and spices with a little bit of sauteed onions, you know. I wonder how it's going to turn out when I add this Smoky Mountain blend, warm and smoky Southwest blend. This is why I don't add, you know, in every single step, they tell you to add salt and pepper, but this is why I don't, because they already give you spices and stuff, and if you're adding salt and pepper in every damn step, I mean, like when I first started making these, the food would become out salty, of course, you know? So now I just wait till the end to taste it, and then I see. So there we go, we add all of that. The directions also asks us to add the Tex-Mex paste, and then a 1/3 cup of water. So go ahead and cut this off. Add light, and then it says a third cup of water. So we get our little keychain of measuring cups. Add that. I love this house, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait till I move out of it and move on. I'm planning on moving to Dubai. I don't know, maybe East Africa. I was planning on starting some businesses out in Dubai or in Kenya or you know, just some developing countries because it's cheaper and easier to start those businesses. Obviously, your profits are smaller, but once you develop a foundation, your business can grow. You can start a small pharmacy, make it a big one, you know? And a pharmacy in Kenya can start, I mean, you could be bringing in, for a moderately big size one that's gonna cost about 50 grand to you know, start up. I mean, you're talking about 5 to 10 grand a month profit. That's not bad. Your ROI, what's that? 10 months or something like that? I don't know. You guys do the math. I'm fucked up right now. Mix this meat. And by the way, that's after your overhead costs. Turn this heat up a little bit. All right. You guys just looking at my butt. Stop looking at my butt. Anyways, yeah, so anyways, that's just like a pharmacy business out there. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do. Right now, I'm actually building a party shuttle, a party bus. And, oh, you know what? You guys can come take a look at it real quick. Well, this meat is cooking. I'll show you guys. I'll show you where it's at, but I guess I have to upload photos or something. I wouldn't know how to do that, but it's a pretty decent day out. I bought a truck. People think I tagged it up, but I was actually just testing the panels to see how it would receive this paint that I was gonna spray on it. So it actually does pretty good. So I'm gonna have to paint the whole truck so people don't look at it and think, oh, it looks like shit. But kind of see it's like a texture paint. It's the same stuff I'm using right here on these things. But this is my RV. I don't know how well you guys saw that. I didn't flip the camera, I just turned it around. Turned the phone around. Here we go. This is the inside. I gutted everything out. It has a stove right here, a refrigerator here, microwave, sink, cabinets, drawers. It's gonna have some speakers, some televisions, all that stuff, everything. Back here is gonna be like a bar right here for like drinks and stuff. I'm gonna put like a nice little cool ceiling on it. It's gonna have a TV here. There's gonna be an entertainment area. So I'll basically just be shuttling people around. They can have a party, good time, and, you know, and be haram. And I'll, you know, and I'll just freaking shuttle them around, and that's it. I think this floor turned out like shit. I'm gonna have to figure out what else to do with it. They have this laminate tape stuff that I might just go buy, like a roll of, and just glue it down on top of it, which means that that floor was a waste of money. But it's okay. Costs like 400 bucks. that I just don't want to keep spending, you know, because it's digging into my profits. But I imagine if I can get it up and operating, if I really bust my butt and I get known and get out there, I got to clean my face. Sorry about that, guys. Should have washed my face before I got on this damn camera. But anyways, I feel like I can get up to maybe 8 grand. That's like it's like 2,000 dinar, 2,500 dinar per month extra on top of what I make in profits. So at that point, man, I'm just moving. I plan on being a millionaire by the time I'm in my 40s. Hopefully by the time I'm 40. I only got a couple more years for that, so I wish I'd had these plans. You know, like 6 years ago, I'd be ahead of the power curve. But, you know, it's better late than never. And it's really not too late because, I mean, I'm 37 and I own a house. I'm the youngest person to own this house on this block, and I'm the one that's owned mine the longest. And even the people that are like just now buying their homes on this block, they're my age that I am now, but I was 27 when I bought this house. That doesn't mean anything. It's just part of that growth and development. But now I've turned a profit on it, and you know I'm utilizing it for a business and income. And now I get to purchase things like that RV out there and try another business like that. So that one's going to be done in a couple of weeks. You know, just stuff like that. So, but we'll get it working. We're almost finished with this. I'll show you people how it turned out when it's done. Let me go ahead and see what we gotta do next. Okay. All right. There we go. We're going to turn this off. I'll go ahead and put this in the oven for a minute or two. I'm using this iron skillet. I'm putting it in the oven for a moment because it's already got the grease, and I just want to make sure that it warms up so when I put the rolled taquitos on here, they're nice and not non-stick. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but you'll see. I'm the best cook in the world, ever. Nobody's better than me. Nobody. All right. Now, oh my God. Oh man. Man, I am handsome. I'm sure to get subscribers. I know it. Bear in mind, people, this is my first, well, one of my first videos. It's only like, I did 2 streams. I did, notice I licked my fingers and I'm still cooking with these hands. I'm the only one eating this, so fuck you guys. And Gordon Ramsay, I'd love to meet you one day, sir. I'm a fan of your ass chewings. Those things are phenomenal. They're hilarious, and you don't give a shit who it is. But I've been watching that show, Kitchen Nightmares or whatever, and he goes around and fixes things for people and inside their restaurants. So he comes there, he kind of notices what's wrong, and usually it's the kitchen, you know, usually it's the food. He is a chef, so I mean, that's kind of what a restaurant's there for, is for food. So anyways, I've been watching that, and I really respect his candor and his willingness to say exactly what needs to be said, even if the chef doesn't like it, even if the restaurateur, whatever you call them, the owner doesn't like it, managers don't like it, but who gives a shit? You brought this guy in, he's a renowned chef, he's coming here clearly to tell you exactly what the fuck you're doing wrong, because you're doing something wrong. And if you're doing everything right, then your business will be successful. So it's important to listen. Yeah, let me go check on this pot. So, notice now how the pot is glazed with the oil, and it is now warmed. So these taquitos should not stick, inshallah. Inshallah. It means if God wills it, if any of you don't know that. Now, the way that you usually do these is you roll them, which is exactly how I'm gonna do it. Bet you thought I was gonna say something something different, huh? I got you. Forgot the cheese. I'll tell you like a man told me, I'll eat anything with cheese on it. I'll eat some shit if it got cheese on it. That's what he said. He said, I'll eat some shit if it got cheese on it. I was like, damn, guy's dedicated. must be Swedish or something. Don't they have like good cheeses in Sweden? They're known for that. Ooh, nice and rolly. Here we go. So we just roll these up, and I'll show you guys the before and then the after of this. Put a little bit of cheese in this one. Try not to make too much of a mess. We got to clean it up ourselves. After all, we don't have a wife. You know, that's what the fuck we went out. That's what the fuck we left in September to go do. But it's okay. There's plenty of stars in the sky. Plenty of fish in the ocean. I don't like that saying, suggests that women are fish. Like as if they're fish people. Maybe like a mermaid. Like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. And you know what? It's really prejudice against fish to be compared to women. It's terrible for the fish. Man, I really gotta learn how to edit these videos. This shit's gonna get me caught up 20 years from now when I actually make a name for myself and people are watching my shit and they're like, oh yeah, dig up a video from 20 years ago and Brandon didn't even get watched. Now he's gonna get canceled. But hopefully I got a bunch of money before that happens. That way I won't be so upset. I'll be drying my tears with $100 bills, if they still have those, or Bitcoin. I don't know how you can dry your tears with Bitcoin. That's why I'm against that digital currency shit. You can't even dry your tears with Bitcoin. It's insane. What's the point? What's the point in having a bunch of money if you can't like do silly things with it? Like make it rain in a club, as they used to do in the early 2000s. That was, I forgot to put, let's put it on here like this. Ooh, all right. Now that we got these all rolled up, now what we do is we lick our fingers. Okay, fine, we wash our hands and we get a fresh towel to dry them. this. Now, if you can see that, that's kind of how they look going in. And let us see here. All right, well, we got to throw them away because I completely screwed everything up. Man, I'm kidding. I think we got to wait for 8 to 12 minutes or until golden brown and crispy. In the meantime, what they want us to do is mix some of this with some lime. This is sour cream and lime, lime, in a bowl, and make it a more of a milky consistency or a creamy consistency. Where you can drizzle it on top of your taquitos as a sauce and somewhat of a garnish, I guess. No, I guess a garnish would be like cilantro, because you really don't need cilantro on top of this. That would be nice though. Never leave any sour cream in these packets. Sour cream is expensive, and I love it. What I don't love is that Lebanon crap that I had in Kuwait. I don't know what the hell that was. All right, so we're squeezing some of this lime in here, and as I mentioned before, it makes it a lot easier to get more of the juices in here when you soften it up before you cut it up. So finish with that. Take a little stir here, mix it around. Mix it, mix. Here. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? There we go. We are done. Now we set this to the side. And let me go take a look real quick, a peek at our taquitos in the oven. They're getting there, but you guys won't see them until they're done. If I had some cool editing trick and powers, you know, what I could have done was just edit it to where I threw them in the oven and then I took them out and it was done already and it looked perfect. And then flicked again to it being on a plate already prepared with the garnishments and stuff. But for this video, you guys aren't gonna get that. You just get the raw, full 40 minutes of 45 minutes, I guess, because that's about how much longer we got, of me just preparing it and talking to you at the same time, which I think you guys have got a chance to see a lot of things, like my project that I have going on, just little discussions we have, sort of my consensus on certain topics, but, you know, we'll share some more information as we go along, and maybe, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about things, my years I spent overseas, 2 years in Kuwait, 5 years in Iraq, 6 months in Japan, 7 months in Afghanistan. And now I've had to sit home for 2 years and I hate it. and I hate it. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to being here at home, and but it's given me a chance to actually kind of like benefit from it, really, financially. You know, I've found out a lot of things about myself, about my family, about my life, about who I was, who I am, who I should be, who I want to be, who I can be. All those cliche to be things, I guess, and I really do have real high aspirations for myself. I would love to start a family soon. You know, that was my intentions just recently, and kind of got thwarted by my own mistakes, and I wish I had not done. But man, the good thing is if you're not going to be forgiven for something like at least like once, then maybe it just wasn't meant to be, you know. It's like, fuck. But, you know, sometimes things don't deserve forgiveness, and people don't always have to give you forgiveness. So just remember that too. You just gotta forgive yourself. You gotta move the fuck on, and you gotta get rich. I don't know what else to tell you. Just get rich. Just fucking, I don't know. Hopefully I'll start posting up these videos soon. You guys will start seeing my pockets get a little fatter with Bitcoin. See, you can't even have fat pockets with Bitcoin. This is digital currency bullshit is crap. I'm gonna go to a cash society like Dubai, or actually Dubai is more like automated now. Kuwait was really much of a cash society still. Most people didn't even take debit cards. They just took KNet, which is a Kuwaiti national bank or something. It's crap. Kuwait just wants to control its people so much. It's insane. I'm gonna check on this food. Not quite the color we're looking for, but it'll get there.